All right. 3, 2, 1. We're back at it here on the Alaska Sports Talk podcast. Unlike the United States government, you can't shut us down. We're not stopping. So we're back at it. Brad Lauwers, Keaton Homer. Brad is out on assignment right now as he's out on the field for a flag football game service in Diamond. Brad, live update. How are things going out there?
Well, we're just a minute and 17 to go here in the first half. Apparently, a late start, scheduled for a 7 o'clock start. And flag football runs pretty fast with a running clock. Coach Anthony Maldonado out there talking to his defense right now. And Diamond leads 14-7, but Service just moments ago got an interception followed by a touchdown pass. Diamond trying to get something going right here before the half. They are, let's see. Well, they got it first and 20 from the 40, so they got to go to the 20 to get a first down. And I think they might be down to the last timeout, maybe not even having a timeout left, but Diamond currently in first place and trying to hang on to that. There's a pull on the far side. I don't know, Keaton, one big game this last week, South flag football and Diamond were tied for first. South had won the first meeting between the two teams, and now Diamond came back and won the second meeting. So Diamond up by 1, and the season is winding down. This is the last week of the regular season, and then it'll be time for the state playoffs.
Yeah, you mentioned last week of the regular season coming up. South, by the way, playing East Anchorage, Betty Davis, East Anchorage Thunderbirds tonight. That game also going on as we speak, as the Service Diamond game is going on. And then games will finish up on Friday and Saturday before we get into the flag football playoffs coming up in the next week or so. We'll stay in the realm of high school sports. We'll move on to high school football. If you could tell the PA guy to keep it down in the background.
Yeah,
he's doing that.
Hopefully at halftime.
Turnover on downs.
Their mic's working, I can tell you that. And Keaton,
yeah,
unbelievable. The scoreboard's working.
No way. That's even better. Even better.
I don't know if you can catch that, but
no, I see it. Yeah,
it's been a while. It's been a while since we've seen that scoreboard.
Yeah, that service scoreboard. If you've ever been to a game there, it's notorious for going in and out at times, or freezing, or stopping, or completely turning off. So it's good to know that it's working. I'm glad.
So we're getting down to the last minute or so of the first half. Service just turned Diamond over on downs. And they're going to look to pass. They go over the middle and the flag on the play. So just like tackle football, there's a lot of flags on the play. So Service got an illegal block.
Well, that happens sometimes. That does happen.
It does.
Speaking of Service, we'll kind of stay there at Service. Last week, Service trying to fend off back-to-back losses as they got ready to take on the East Anchorage Thunderbirds, and the Service Cougars, well, unable to do it. They lost by 1 to East, 7-6. So Service has now dropped 2 consecutive tackle football games as they go on into the regular season finale to get ready to take on one of the top teams in the Cook Inlet Conference, the South Anchorage Wolverines, going to be their final game of the regular season. So the Service Cougars boys football team trying to bounce back after a tough loss. You were at Bartlett in West, Brad, and the Bartlett Golden Bears, we kind of talked about it. Their defense has been terrific, and they were good again.
Yeah, Keaton, defensive line play was phenomenal. The legend Deuce plays on that defensive line for Bartlett, and he's described as having a high motor, and he's just all over the field, really dominate the game, forcing people to run against him. But really, both teams, you just couldn't run tackle to tackle. Bartlett scored on 3 long passes, probably the shortest of which was, 40, 45 yards. And Salvation, what a good name for a wide receiver. Salvation caught a couple of them. And then Bartlett got another one late to kind of ice the game. One of the best plays I've seen this season, the West drop back. They scrambled left. They tried to get away from Deuce. They scrambled back right. It's a play that took about 15 seconds before they threw it into the end zone. And then I guess for the second consecutive week, a bit of a breakaway there, but that's going to be it for the half. No penalty on the play. So Diamond leads some flag football 14-7. But West, for the second consecutive week, got a safety. So Service got him in a safety the week before, Bartlett in a safety this week. And that paid a difference. Now, okay, there's a holding on Diamond defense, so Service will get one untimed down.
How about that? All right.
You can't get this half over with.
No, can't end the half on a defensive penalty. So
it's not hot out here, I'll tell you that.
You can see the breath, the steam, almost like the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field.
Yeah. Hey, I'll make a deal with you. You don't talk about the Cowboys. I won't talk about the Packers this week.
Okay. All right. I mean, I think that's a good deal. It ended in a tie. Yeah. So I think we shouldn't do anything there.
Yeah. Probably good for our friendship. Yeah. It ended in a tie.
It is. I'm going to make mention of that West loss to Bartlett opened the door for the South Anchorage Wolverines to claim a share of the lead in the Cook Inlet Conference, and they took advantage of that West loss. The South won against Diamond 37-6 last week. So now West and South are tied atop of the Cook Inlet Conference going into the final week. Mentioned that South is going to play Service, and then West is going to take on Juneau. So if West wins, they win the conference. If South wins, they would need a West loss, because way back in week number 1, if you flash all the way back to August 16th, when these two teams last played, West defeated South in week 1, 13-8. So they have the head-to-head tiebreaker. So South would need West to lose to Juneau Douglas to claim the Cook Inlet Conference Championship. So other games from last week: Colony and Juneau. Juneau Douglas Crimson Bears rolling over the Colony Knights 34-20. And then we mentioned the South and Diamond score. South winning 37-6. East defeating Service 7-6. So we set the stage for the final week in Division I high school football. Diamond's going to take on the Betty Davis East Anchorage Thunderbirds on Friday night. Also at Friday night, the Colony Knights and the Bartlett Golden Bears. And then on Saturday afternoon, Juneau Douglas and West. And then Saturday night, 7 o'clock, Service in South to finish up the regular season in D1 football. Some big matchups, Brad, coming up.
Yeah, a lot of interesting games. A Diamond East game, kind of for pride, but also for seeding and see what kind of happens there. I saw some of the South Diamond game. South, I rarely leave games early, but I left that game early. South in control, and really, you can see the confidence they had on their sideline, and just with stuff that they were able to do. And again, I didn't see that West South game to start the year, and I just like the way South. Of course, you got to like them when they win like that. You know what, Coach Maldonado?
Coach, are we getting a live interview?
We're going to get a live interview.
This is happening.
It'll be a 30-second.
Okay.
I'll only talk for 30 seconds. I don't know about Coach.
All right.
I don't know. You got Coach there?
How's it going?
Hey, what's going on? Glad to have you.
We got to fight here. We got to battle.
I like it.
Battle against Diamond.
Okay. All right. Brad, take it away.
Yeah, 14-7. And what a good run right there going into the half to get the interception.
Yes.
And then the touchdown pass.
Yep. I think we're going to try to work the ball a little bit more on the ground, but we're air attack team. So we're just going to keep going and keep plugging. These girls never give up. That's a good thing. They're young too. They're all young. A lot of freshmen and sophomores, and so we're good.
Well, I think of your team last year that had a so-so season and then came in second in state. So a lot to like about the Service program.
It is. It's pretty good. The faculty is awesome up here. They give us everything we need, the field, everything, our athletic director. But these girls come out. This is the most I've ever had. I think we had started with 60, and this is a lot of girls. Like I said, we had like 23 freshmen. So it's good. We have a good foundation going here. And these girls are fighting hard. They know what it's all about.
But the real hero is whoever worked on the clock.
Yeah, exactly.
You're in the scoreboard too often. Hey, thanks, Coach. Good
All right,
luck in
thank
the
you.
second
All
half.
right, thank you.
All right. Hey, look at
So-
that. Look what we're doing. Innovating on the
Yeah,
fly.
we're building.
I like it. A live interview there. Coach Maldonado, the Service Cougars, there at halftime between Service and Diamond Girls flag football as they get ready to wrap up their regular season this week as well.
Hey, Keaton,
Yeah.
I'm going to throw out a couple more things, and
Okay.
I don't know, maybe you have some college updates, but
Yep.
there was a Spiketacular
Yes.
volleyball tournament that was run by West High School, as they do it every year, and South able to emerge victorious, and then Diamond were the runner-ups. Kenai, from a smaller classification, actually they were third or fourth in that tournament, so pretty impressive.
Tied for third. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Colony, kind of the class of the rail belt. They're playing very well this year.
Yep.
And then I'll just throw out some random things that Diamond Swimming's undefeated, and Chugach girls cross country running. I think you are pretty aware of the things that they've accomplished in recent times. So I think, in cross country running, as you may or may not know, it's the low score that wins.
Yeah. You don't want too high of a score there.
Yeah, girls had 28. It's not much possible to get lower than that. So
I think they're going to strive for it.
Pretty awesome.
It is awesome. A lot of sports going on. A lot of sports coming into their postseason coming up here in the next week or so. Same thing with cross country running. State championships for that are coming up. State championships for flag. State championships for tackle football, all coming up. And of course, if you can't make it there in person, the NFHS network will have you covered for the state championships and those events as well. All right, Brad, I know you want to go to the volleyball game. I know you want to go check out inside the volleyball match. So go inside, get warm.
Do that, but first I'm going to run away from this PA guy.
Okay.
And, I'll leave it to you to kind of carry the flag here to finish out this week's podcast. And,
I like it. I can do that.
Again, Isaiah just returning from a long trip, and apparently the world didn't stop when he was away, so he's catching up on all of his office duties.
Totally.
And so we'll hope to hear and see him again next week.
Yep, 100%. So, Brad, thanks for the live update. Thanks for the interview. Go get warm. We'll talk to you later on.
All right. Hey, Mike, the official.
Yeah.
He's working the game.
Oh.
Yeah. So we got that going for us.
That's good.
That's
good. All right. Later.
All right. We'll be with you later, Keaton.
Sounds good. Thanks, Brad.
All
right. Brad Lauwers on assignment tonight at the Service Diamond flag football game. So we kind of touched on D1 football scores from the past week. Also previewed games coming up in the final week of the regular season. Give you the look at the D1 football standings, just where things are at in terms of seeding so far for the Cook Inlet Conference. West and South mentioned they're tied. They're at the top. West has the tiebreaker, so they're number one seed as of right now. South would be the number two if the season ended. And then it's followed by Bartlett, Service, Juneau, Colony, Diamond, and East to round things out in the Cook Inlet Conference going into the final week. Again, if West was to lose and South was to win, those teams would flip-flop. But if West wins, they hang on to the number one seed going into the postseason and quarterfinal play. Brad mentioned the Spiketacular. I know we're kind of jumping all over the map here a little bit, but want to make mention of some other teams in that fantastic tournament. South won the gold bracket. Diamond finished in second. Colony in third, and Kenai tying for third as well. So Dotna, Eagle River, West, and Service rounding out the rest of that gold bracket as well. So the silver bracket featured East, Wasilla, Nikiski, Utiavik, Grace Christian, and Palmer, Seward, and Lathrop to round out the silver bracket. And then in the bronze bracket, Nome, Bartlett, West Valley, Juneau, and Kodiak to round things out. Now, these teams each played 12 games over the courses of 2 days on Friday and Saturday at West Anchorage High School. And there was a lot of volleyball to be played. So if you want to check out the scores from each of those in the brackets, individual brackets as well, you can just Google West Spiketacular, and then you can find the link for the 2025 tournament as well. All right, we're jumping back into Division II football. So D2 football from last week, scores from around the conference in Division II. Chugiak and Palmer. Palmer taking down the Chugiak Mustangs 35-21. And then North Pole and West Valley up in Fairbanks. West Valley stringing together back-to-back victories as they take down the North Pole Patriots 26-13. And then Soldotna and Lathrop. Soldotna edging out the Lathrop Malamutes 27-14 in a close game, as Soldotna able to pull away there in the late stages to pick up the win. And then Eagle River against Wasilla. The Wolves pick up their second conference victory as they take down Wasilla 30-12. So games coming up this week in D2 football. Eagle River and Chugiak on Friday night out at Chugiak. The Potato Bowl is happening, a big rivalry out in the valley as Palmer will take on Wasilla. North Pole and Soldotna will also battle it out. And then a huge one up in Fairbanks, probably the biggest game of the week in Fairbanks, West Valley and Lathrop. Because if you look at the D2 football standings coming into the final week, Soldotna, Palmer, and Lathrop, they have all locked up a spot. And then if you take a look at North Pole and West Valley as well, those two teams trying to figure out who's going to be in and who's going to be out. Right now, it's West Valley who holds the tiebreaker over North Pole, so they are technically in. They got to win, and they're in, right? If North Pole wins, it gets a West Valley loss, then North Pole would be in. Eagle River, Chugiak, and Wasilla all playing for some bragging rights over some conference opponents and some rivalry games to end the year, as Eagle River, Chugiak, and Wasilla on the outside looking into the playoffs this season. Remember, in Division II, only the top 4 teams make the playoffs. There's only a semifinal and a championship round in D2 football. So Soldotna, Palmer, Lathrop already locked up a spot, already guaranteed a spot as well. So that gets you caught up a little bit on D2 football going into the final week of the regular season. Division III football scores from last week. Seward keeping it rolling as they win 70-0 over Nikiski. Barrow and Houston, 36-24 victory for the Barrow Whalers. Monroe Catholic and Valdez, a 50-0 win for Monroe Catholic. That's 9-man football, by the way, over Valdez. And then Homer and Kenai, a 44-6 victory for the Homer Mariners over Kenai to take down the Kenai Central Cardinals. So D3 games coming up this week. Kodiak and Homer, Kenai and Barrow, Reddington and Houston all will do battle. 9-man football, Seward and Monroe Catholic, Nikiski, and then you have the Student Wrestling Development Program, SWDP, the private school up in Fairbanks, taking on Nikiski in 9-man football. So that kind of gets you caught up on Division II scores and how things kind of shake out. If you want to get a little bit of a bigger picture of what is happening in terms of D1, D2 playoffs, you can surf on over to the Alaska Sports Report. Our friends over there, Van Williams and the fantastic reporting staff there will have you covered for more in-depth analysis and write-ups of everything that's going on in the final week of the regular season and on into the postseason as well. Flag football, I want to mention this as well. Obviously, big flag football night, last regular season week for them as well before they get into the playoffs. Colony and Palmer also playing tonight. Eagle River and Bartlett also doing battle as well. We know that South and East are playing in Service and Diamond, so a lot of action going on across the flag football spectrum here tonight. Chugiak, Eagle River, Diamond, and East, and South, and Service all are playing later this week and as well on Friday and Saturday. The Fairbanks schools and also the Valley schools have kind of wrapped up their regular season, if you will, a little bit earlier than some of the Anchorage schools here tonight, Tuesday night, the recording of this podcast, and then the weekend as well. All right, so Move on to some college athletics. Volleyball. We'll stay in the volleyball realm of things as UAA women's volleyball this weekend kept it rolling as they pick up another couple of GNAC conference wins to stay undefeated in conference play as they win against Western Oregon in 4 sets and then also in 3 sets against St. Martin's. The Seawolves now are 4-0 in conference play. They are 13-1 overall. They're still not quite yet in the top 25, but guess who is for the first time ever in program history? The UAF Nanooks. They come in ranked number 23 as of yesterday in the coaches poll for the first time ever in the history of UAF volleyball. They are now in the top 25. They also are sporting a 13-1 record, and they are also 4-0 in conference play as well. They got 123 of the points in terms of votes to get into the top 25 poll for the first time ever in their program history. Trying to think how long they've been around as a volleyball program. It's not as old as you would think in terms of having a volleyball program. I only want to say, maybe 30, 40 years, somewhere in that neighborhood, I would think. I think. I could be wrong on that. But it's not as old as you would think in terms of having a volleyball program at UAF and also at UAA. We'll get stats and research on that to find out exactly the very first volleyball match for UAF. But nevertheless, this was a program that had struggled for years and always seemed to be kind of at the doormat of the GNAC conference in terms of volleyball. And that's no more as UAF has flipped the script a little bit. And speaking of UAF and UAA, both these teams going to be playing this weekend in a huge early season conference matchup as UAA will try to knock off their second-ranked opponent of the season. Remember, way back when they took on Chaminade back in the end of August, the number 9 team in the nation at the time, they defeated Chaminade in 5 sets. And now they're going to try to upset, I guess you could call it upset. In my book, it wouldn't really be an upset. Seawolves are only a couple of spots away in terms of getting into the top 25. But an unranked team versus a ranked team, and the Seawolves trying to take down the Nanooks this Saturday at 7 o'clock up in Fairbanks. You can watch online. Go to GoSeawolves.com. Find all the information to watch online. Or you can go in person if you want to make your way up to Fairbanks as well for that volleyball match. So it should be a good one between UAA and UAF coming up this weekend. A lot of stuff going on in terms of high school sports. The NFHS Network is going to have a lot of stuff happening. If you have not got a subscription to the NFHS Network, be sure you go to NFHSnetwork.com. You can subscribe there. You can check out all the postseason games that are coming up for high school, not just flag football, tackle football, but also plenty of the other things that are happening in terms of postseason as well. Swim and dive coming up. Volleyball season is going to be right around the corner in terms of postseason play as well. So be sure that you check out the NFHS Network for any of the games that you cannot make it to in person. So the last week of the high school football season is upon us. It is going to be interesting to see how things kind of get sorted out in terms of who's going to be seated where, especially on the Division I side of things. The D2, remember, there's that last spot that's kind of up for grabs between North Pole and West Valley of who's going to be in and who is going to be out. So keep an eye out for that as well. And then as soon as everything kind of settles and the dust settles from this weekend, we'll have a playoff picture kind of built, and we'll kind of preview some of the playoff matchups coming up going into the first round of postseason play next week. So until then, we're going to bid you adieu here for this edition for the Alaska Sports Talk podcast. For Brad Lauwers, for Isaiah Freeman, who's not even here at the moment, but we know that he's here and he's producing all the stuff behind the scenes. Myself, Keaton Homer, we'll see you out on the fields and somewhere out there in the Alaska sports universe.